Good day and welcome to another episode of Regional Review. I'm Kambowe, the Namibia Media Holdings correspondent in the Northeastern regions. On today's show, we'll be sharing with you highlights of events that unfolded in the Northeastern regions over the past week. Also, we have an interview with Mr. Paulo Sitentu, a unionist who will be telling us or sharing his opinion on the increase of food commodities as well as the fuel prices in terms of how it affected the residents, especially in the Kambowe East regions. He'll also talk about how the lack of increase for the salaries of civil servants has affected their disposable income and them taking care of their families. Meanwhile, in history, today is grilled cheese sandwich day. So check out the next video. Welcome back, and now for the news segment. Our first story is about the lifeless body of a 20-year-old boy from Kaisosi who was found in the Okavango River floating. The community on Friday had a peaceful demonstration towards the office of the Kambowe East Governor Boniface Wakutumo, where they handed over a petition calling for the law enforcement to strengthen their efforts to combat crime in this region, as well as calling upon action to be taken to the suspected culprits. This is what unfolded.
Murder of Taveras by Renos Ferru on the 21st of 03/2022 by his brother. Taveras' body was found floating and disjointed. It was discovered that his own brother killed him. Taveras is not the first incident in Kaisosi. Kaisosi has been losing people without trace, and some have been killed. As a community, we have lost about 11 people. Our pain and disappointed is that although the culprits were taken to prison, they were only spent for a night in the cell and they were released. The person were taken about was poured with acid after being killed. This resulted in the body dissolving. Why should the same institution that's supposed to protect our right and they are neglecting us? Are the dead no longer important in protection of the dignity? We are demanding the following. The culprits must be brought back into custody. The culprits' home must be removed from the community. Empower the Kaisosi police substation. The statement must act on behalf of the victim and the community so culprits are severely punished. The police must dig deep, find out the whole matter and mobilize the criminal in the community. As a community, we are demanding that Tavares' dignity needs to be restored. Failure to fulfill the above-mentioned demand, we are going to take the law in our own hands. The youth are organizing and put the culprits down. These demands are only given a time frame of 7 working days.
7 working days.
If nothing will happen in these 7 days, we shall act as stipulated above.
Our second story is about Kambowe East Regional Governor Boniface Wakutumo, who at an event on Friday did not mince his word when he talked about contractors who are failing his government as well as administrators in the Kavango East Regional Council who are not doing their job. This is what he said.
I want to assure you, as long as I'm the governor of the Kavango East region, administrators, if you are doing your work correctly, I am representing central government. There's no way you will tell me that no governor is interfering. I am not interfering, but I am directing you to make sure that you do the correct work. The government and the president whom I represent as a regional governor is elected by the electorate. And as a regional head, it is my responsibility to make sure, no matter what your position you hold in administration, my responsibility is to make sure that you comply and you do the work correctly. I cannot sit in my office, you tell me this school is having a hostel, and I know that school doesn't have a hostel, and you pay contractors to deliver services while that school doesn't have a hostel. And as a regional governor, I must just keep quiet, sit in the office, you to do your administrative work. I cannot allow that. Not in my tenure as the governor of this region. I will not allow that. Government must and should spend money for services rendered. We must agree. And we must also disagree for the good cause. I am not threatening anybody here, but I just want to tell you the truth. As long as Wakudumo Bonifatus is a governor in the Kavango East region, I will make sure technocrats, you do your work.
As we are very much aware that public servants haven't received salary increments for over 7 years, inflation rate has continued to grow each and every year. While now we have now received, as we are seeing, the massive rise in prices of all commodities, especially the basic commodities, and now of late the escalating prices in fuel. So it has severe consequences, and it's seriously affecting the disposable incomes of the citizens, to the extent that one is not even able to be able to cater for their needs. Now, if the food prices is so high, how is one able to feed their families? So these are serious challenges. Now, if we talk of in bigger towns, or most especially the capital city, where the price of accommodation, for instance, is very high. So the living expenditures is terrible, that one can't sustain it. So this price increases, and the fact that there's no salary increase for over the past years is terrible, and we cannot really allow it. Now, narrowing down to the situation of the Kavango regions to be in particular, knowing for a mere fact that they are the most poorest regions, it's the consequences are terrible, are severe. So to say that, as we all know, that there are very few individuals that are earning an income, and most of these individuals, those very few individuals that are earning an income, will have to feed two to more than 5 or 6 different extended families. So now, can you imagine a situation where you were previously, with that small amount, you were earning that small amount and be able to still support 5 to 6, 7 families? It's really terrible. Now, unfortunately, this is the culture in this part of the country, the regions, because these are the poorest region. The reason why the regions are poor is because of there are very few people that are earning a decent income. And from those numbers, few numbers of those that are earning an income, still those very few numbers are supporting more families. So then the strain on these families has become so much, and it is so terrible, and it's unsustainable. So coming back to the region, seriously, it is affecting the region terribly because the living expenditure has become too much. So the disposable income of the residents or individuals that are able to earn an income is not sufficient enough to sustain the family. So as we speak now, the situation is terrible. It really needs us to take drastic measures, so to say that we come up with measures to navigate around this situation. Yeah.
Okay. You spoke about no selling agreements for quite some time. Our government claims that there's no money. As you can see by our budget, how money is now being taken from one ministry. Some ministries are also being killed or dismantled simply to make sure that maybe government can have money in the future. But at the current moment, as a unionist, will it be safe to say that government is broke and that it should not increase employee salaries?
Uh, Mr. Kambowe, I will not want to believe the narrative that our government is broke, because we have not seen that. So the government needs to prove to us that really there is no money to do so. Now, if there is no money to do so, what are we doing as a government? What have we decided to cut down on some of the on some of the expenses, that unnecessary expenses that we are incurring as a country? Some of the unnecessary benefits, what have we done? Because the moment that you are still sustaining the same livelihood or the same level of expenditure, basically simply means that you are not broke enough. Now, if it's too much, if it's too much, why are you not cutting down on certain benefits of politicians, for instance? Why would a civil servant, a poor civil servant like a cleaner, pay for the benefits of a prime minister? What sense does that make? These people are living basically for free. It's the poor civil servants that are earning little, that are paying for the furnitures, that are paying for the fuel of these people. Now you tell me that there is no money. Why are we not cutting down on some of these specs to really show that really this situation has hit us all, and that the impact is being felt by everyone? Because now as we speak, the impact is only being felt by the poor person on the ground. Let's take a look at an example. You see, we have some unnecessary expenditure that we as a country have decided to embark upon, which are unsustainable. For instance, if the policy in the country or the law says that if I reach 60 years old, whenever I reach 60 years old, I must retire and get my benefits. But look at what is happening in our country now. We have elders that are more than 70 years old on government payroll. Is that sustainable? Is that fair? Is that right? So all these are questions that we need to seriously interrogate ourselves to look at it. And just to add on that, Namibia is a very rich country, to tell you, because we have the resources. The problem is that we have poor implementation of our plans. The resources that we have, the fishing sector, could have been used to benefit this whole country. But what are we doing? Look at what the effect of the fishing sector or the diamond sector has on our country. Zero. So how can you claim that the country is poor when you are not utilizing the resources appropriately? There's only a few individuals that are benefiting from this. And you call that fairness? And what does it bring? What returns does it bring in the country? Zero returns. So those are the issues that we're having.
Taking a look at the weather for the northeast, Nkuru can expect showers over the next 3 afternoons along with mild temperatures. Rundu is mild with patchy clouds today, with showers expected on Wednesday and Thursday before clearing on Friday. Kongola is partly sunny and comfortable, with spotty showers expected on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Partly sunny and pleasant conditions are expected at Katima, with showers forecast for Thursday and Friday before clearing somewhat.
That was it from us today. Thank you very much for staying tuned for this episode of Regional Review. Stay tuned for another episode of Regional Review, same time tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.